This is Coogan Cassius for IFL TV. We're in Newcastle here for the final press conference for Hall and Butler ahead of this Saturday night show at the Metro Arena live on Box Nation. With me, I have promoter Dennis Hobson. All right, Dennis?
How you doing, Coogan? Good to see you.
I know I'm not your favourite IFL TV employee,
You're in the playoffs. Just said he's only 2 a year. That's tough on you, isn't it? But James is my man. He's my man. He's my boozing partner, my eating partner. We go out around the town together. So you've got to earn your stripes yet, pal.
All right. Well, I've got 3 days to do it. Judge me on Sunday. I will do. On God's day. Dennis, another all-British world title fight. There's not enough of these, and we've had 2 back-to-back now. But this is huge for the North East here.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's no secret. The fella over the road is not my favourite person, but you know that as a spectacle on Saturday were fantastic for boxing. It just shows, you know, we've got all the football, and we watched England last night, and we always will in England football team to do well, but what do we win on the world scene? We don't. This is the only probably sport we win on the world scene consistently. But as an event, it was a fantastic event and fantastic for boxing, and it just shows that if it's marketed properly and we can get the back pages which is sucked up through football, if we've got them behind us and we've got terrestrial TV as well as the obviously Sky and Box Nation, then it could be maybe the biggest sport in the country. Because, like I say, it's the only thing that we win at on the world scene. So, yeah, another great spectacle on Saturday. And like I said earlier, on Saturday it's a proper trade fight. And for me, and you might think I'm being biased, but I think it blinds the fight on Saturday. I think for all sorts of different reasons. I think it's 2 men at the top of the game. 1 man, and I believe my man Stuart Hall is probably at his best. I think Paul's not quite at his best yet. I think he's going to be a superstar, but the two kids who's just about at the top of the game and rightfully should be fighting for a world title.
Stuart Hall's, like I said, it was made reference in the press conference about, you know, how public well known he is as a world champion, and how would you book that situation, as in how many people actually know he's a world champion? Stuart? Yeah.
I think because he's an unfashionable world champion, because he got beat domestically from Jim McDonald, Lee Askins, but you know, he can always, Lee Askins shouts about, oh, I beat Jim McDonald, I beat Stuart Hall, I beat Martin Ward, but Stephen Jamoy beat Lee, and Jimmy McDonald beat Stephen Jamoy. So you know, there's always sorts of different scenarios. So you know, if we tell the full story, you know, different styles through different fighters, and I believe that Stuart's not the same fighter that he was before he lost to Jim McDonald and to Lee Askins. So, you know, it's his time, and like, you know, all cliches, he's right fights at right time, and I think it's his time, and I think he's developed physically, but mainly I think he's developed mentally and into a tough world champion to beat. He's not well known because, like I say, he's been beat domestically, so people think, well, he's unfashionable, look, he's been beat by him and him. But he keeps winning, and it's like Jim Watt. He has had his time, you know, towards the mid-30s or whatever it was, and he ended up being a massive personality. So maybe the same's going to happen with Stuart.
Paul Butler, one of the rising stars of British boxing, you said it yourself in the press conference. Do you think in people's eyes, looking in, Paul Butler's expected to come here and win this title from Stuart? Well,
obviously, I mean, Ladbrokes, William Mills, Corals, Betfair, whoever it is, they all fancy Paul Butler. I think he's 3 to 1 on. But for me, you know, Francis obviously fancies Paul, and I fancy Stuart because I've been closer to Stuart, and I've seen Harry ticks. But for me, genuinely, I think it's a 50-50 fight. I think it's a toss of a coin, whoever can impose their style on the other. The 2 contrasting styles. You might think Stuart's basic, but he's a lot more basic. He's not just comes in straight lines. He's a colossus. He's big, he's strong, he's tough, and he hits like a mule. Whereas Paul's so stylish. He's got every shot in the book. He hits well, comes down to the body well, and it just depends if Stuart can cope with his angles, his technical ability. But I think he does. I think he wears Paul down, and I think he starts to hit too hard, and I think he's too much of a naturally bigger man and naturally bigger puncher. I think that's what will prevail here, but I could be wrong. And I think it's just on the night who, like I say, who imposes their style on the other, and that's why it's such a great fight and a great fight to be involved with.
There was a lot of talk prior to this fight about the IBF situation regarding Randy Caballero. Dennis, what is the situation regarding the winner of this fight? Do they have to face Randy Caballero?
Absolutely, he's the mandatory challenger, and you know, I mean, if we were in Caballero's shoes, we'd be pushing to get a fight on. He's earned his stripes. He's earned his shot at the champion when he went to Japan and won the mandatory fight, and you know, they wanted to be the next in line, but it wouldn't have been ready for June the 7th.
Flipgate, I'm going to knock that table over. I'm going to have it.
Go easy, Colonel Gaddafi.
We're in the middle of
Who you're having?
I'm going to have it. That's it.
Do you want me to referee this? Hey? Do you want me to hold the camera cool?
If you break that...
What do you reckon, Mac?
You're going to break him.
This is my bodyguard.
You're going to do it, Dennis, for me.
No problem.
This is my bodyguard. What he did yesterday, behind the back, on the floor.
Did he stick the boots in?
He stuck the
That's
boots
how we
in.
do it, Will, we are. That's how we do it.
We don't do serious.
Do you know what? Do you know how we fight? We fight to win. So if it's 50 on 1, that's how we do it.
Yeah, just
whatever it takes.
Fair fight.
Yeah.
Excuse my language, but
to
be fair
war,
fight.
He's won the battle, didn't work.
He didn't win the war, yeah.
We can have him.
I'll have him in the ring. Me and him.
North against south.
Me and him.
He's got his...
Oh, hang on. Hold up. Hold up.
There we go.
North against south here, Francis.
I've got his bill from the Midland Hotel for that table. Don't tell him.
Thank you.
Bill, you ain't paid a bill in your life. You've got deeper pockets than the San Andreas fault, mate.
San Andreas fault.
Are we out to continue our conversation? It's quite serious what we're talking about.
We were getting a bit deep there.
Yeah, we like deep.
Each other.
Deep's alright.
He kisses Eddie Hearn. Does he kiss you?
I'll get there, won't he? He's in playoffs at the moment. James is top man.
Rotherham did well, didn't they?
Rotherham did very, very well, didn't they? Hey, I saw some glum faces last week, but go on, Rotherham. One of my old clubs. Up the Millers. But look, cuckoos don't always come out on top. And, you know, when sometimes you steal some, you know, keep pinching nests, bit of karma takes place, and that's what happened with Rotherham United. But, you know, and I think they'll struggle from now on. They might end up in Vauxhall Conference, you know, part-time. And it costs you a lot of money to keep these part-time footballers and football clubs going. Because all your sponsorship goes, your supporters dwell, and they end up going and watching West Ham, a proper team. Or Sheffield Wednesday, the team. So if ever anybody wants to, I have a box regular at Sheffield Wednesday. If they want to come and see a bit of proper football, about proper passion with proper people, come to Sheffield 6. Absolutely. Anyway, enough about that.
Enough about that. You've lost me now. I've been trying to work out.
Go on. What about Dolly Parton? Have you still got that picture of Dolly Parton on your when you get romantic with yourself?
I've replaced it with Paula Abdul.
Paula Abdul.
What do you think about that, Dennis?
I could get romantic with Paula Abdul, I think.
I was just looking at hand gesture then.
Well, that's him, isn't he? He gets romantic with himself.
Listen, lonely nights. I'm a single guy. What can I say?
Is there a song there? Are you lonesome tonight? Do you miss me tonight? Are you sorry we drifted apart? Does your memory stray to a bright summer's day when I kissed you and called you sweetheart? Go on, enough of that.
Do you know what?
Yeah.
I'm mesmerised by that.
Yeah. Did I send you to sleep?
Absolutely.
I'm good like that. I sing to my babies.
Dennis,
yeah.
Talk about this, the undercard. Cracking undercard.
Brilliant.
John Lewis Dickinson defending his British and fighting for Oval Mackenzie's Commonwealth title. This is an interesting fight, considering Oval's last performance over Tony Conquest.
Yeah, John Lewis has obviously, without using the pun, he stuck his neck out, and he's taking the fight. He'll take on all comers, like he said. But you know, going back to making fights, it's so easy to make your celebrity fights, what I call celebrity fights, where you pick the phone up, you pay whatever to get an opponent in. These are difficult fights to make. Paul Butler against Stuart Hall, difficult fight to make because, you know, like it or loathe it, there's a lot of politics involved in boxing. myself, Francis, Asif, James, everybody, we worked very, very hard to make that fight. Another tough fight to make, Lewis Dickinson against Over Mackenzie, because they both got something to lose. But so you've got to take your hat off to them and admire them because they're putting it on the line. So I think, like I said earlier, the proper trade fights that we're putting together, and then we've got kids coming through, and we don't just want to give them knockovers because what they're learning. Because what good is that for the public? That's not going to bring people through the door. That's not going to get us the back pages of the papers. So fights like Hall, Butler, Dickinson, Mackenzie, they're what are meaningful fights. They're real fights. They're not just your overhyped fights. They're like I said, they're what transcend the sport. They're what. If this were on, like, if we get the build up on terrestrial TV and we get the back pages, these could be mini Wembley type fights, because these have got a crossover. You've got great personalities, as you've seen on the top table, and we deserve to get the people through. This is fantastic for the North East, and we want to be on a tour of the country putting fights like this together, and we will do. Myself and Francis, we've got the same sort of mindset and the kind of fights that we want to put together and the kids that we want to sign, and we are going to be a vehicle for kids to get to the top. And there's nobody better placed than the team that we've got and the capabilities that we've got promotionally to get kids from, you know, just from to area titles to domestic titles to European and onto the world scene. There's nobody better at it than us, given the platform, and you'll see that because obviously I'm not just saying it because he's here. So pleased to be working with Francis. He's an intelligent kid. He's got a lot of style. He doesn't dress quite as smart as me, but I've looked at his whistle, and he's doing all right. I think he's got female hormones because he likes to wear a lot of pink.
Nothing wrong with pink.
There's not a lot of. I've got a pink shirt, but I've got a pink shirt.
Yeah, but you look like Barney the dinosaur in that purple one.
Listen, I didn't dress me today. I dressed in black and white this morning. It was dark.
Dennis, let me ask you: were you ever interested in making Hall McDonald?
I didn't think you'd ask that.
That took longer
than I thought there. I'd love to make that fight. I mean, on camera I'll say to you, McDonald is still contracted to me, still managed by me, and still under a promotional contract to me. So how the boxing board go about their business remains to be seen. Obviously there's going to be a lot comes out of it. It's still ongoing. I mean, it's like me. If you had a shop or Francis had a shop, and all of a sudden I say, "Get out! I'm running this shop." I built it up. Now I'm they're at liberty just to build that business up or destroy it. And to be honest, he won a title. It's not the true world champion at WBA is Mourinho. He fought a kid who's rated, I think, number 50, who's never fought outside Thailand, and it doesn't look in proper shape. He doesn't look right mentally, and I don't think he ever will now. He part of company with me, and he's got people around him. It's like when Ricky left Frank, he come to me and stuff like that, and then you got all sorts of different people in their ear, and they're not strong enough to stick with the people who's got them there, and I think that's going to be come to fruition and come to task. He'll come unstuck, I think, Jamie, because I don't think he's there and he ever will be mentally again.
Cougar, do you think Eddie will want to make that fight?
I don't know.
Are you going to ask him?
Why don't you ask him?
Why don't we just focus on this weekend?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I'd look putting it. I'll cut you. I would make that fight tomorrow, Cougar.
Oh.
If they wanted to come with me, come and talk to me, I'd make that fight tomorrow. Steve's been in contact with him on a regular basis and all that, making Stuart a very good offer. It's a load of twallop. I've seen an offer what went to him which shouldn't have gone. It should have come to me. I'm Stuart's promoter, and he just thinks he's got his own rule book, and that's why they call him the cuckoo, because he just wants to keep nicking everybody's nest. He needs to build his own. But if they want to sit down and do business in a proper manner, which I've done from leaving school, where you're honourable and you do things the right way, you do it on an handshake, and if you need to sign a piece of paper, then you do it. And let's make a fight the right way, and then we can do business, and that way boxing will get a lot bigger if people don't stab each other in the back and go behind the back. So if together, me and Francis will, you watch in a couple of years' time where we are.
All right, listen, Dennis Hobson, thanks for giving us a bit of your time today.
Always a pleasure.
Dwayne's tomorrow. Where is Dwayne?
It's at the Metro Shopping Centre, and the Ward Hall fight in March got a great turnout, and I think this will. You've seen all the press here today. There's a lot of interest for this fight because, like you say, it's a proper trade fight. We've had a lot of difficulty making this fight because of we could have done with it going at the end of June, but we've had the World Cup in the way, so we've had all the build up to that. We've had the politics as regards the IBF, and like I say, 10 days ago, 2 weeks ago, we were in Atlantic City at the convention, just pushing our case to make sure this fight was rubber stamped. Obviously it's rubber stamped now, so we've been playing a bit of catch up, but these are the fights we want to make, and we will continue to do so. And like I say, 2 years time, you see how many world champions Francis and myself's got.
Okay, no problem. All right, we'll look forward to the weigh-in tomorrow, and then Saturday night's on.
Let's get ready to rumble. It's a proper even money fight. The bookies have got it wrong. The best value bet is Stuart Hall.
We shall see Saturday night.
Absolutely.
Dennis Hobson, thanks for talking to IFL TV.
Always a pleasure, Cougar.
Cheers, mate.